When you think about the story going forward, it's going to be at full self-driving penetration, autonomous. So look, I think over the next 4 to 5 years, there will be a point where Sweeney is getting into a cybercab, no driver, taking him to play golf. That will happen in the next 4 to 5 years. But that's our view. And again, the whole issue is that between the Musk-Trump romance, the reason it's so important for the stock is because now regulation in this country.
We know from Sam's work that the operational cost of an electric vehicle is already lower than that of a gas-powered car. So if Tesla were to debut with human drivers today, they could already somewhat beat Uber's price. Additionally, I believe that Tesla has several benefits due to its attractive verticalized structure. Well, I believe that Tesla is not in the same situation as Waymo, where they will need to collaborate since they are a vertically integrated manufacturer. I don't think it's completely impossible, but I do think it's unlikely. It's not exactly Tesla's style, and I would be shocked. They tend to be more do-it-yourself. Version 13 of Tesla's full self-driving software was first made available to early testers and staff members. Well, why is this important to us? Naturally, this is another step toward Tesla's long-term goals of complete autonomy. However, since this is the stack, it's actually a rather crucial step. You know, they were on version 12 before. They want to start a robotaxi network with version 13, which should have several revisions. That will be next year, I guess. Well, how is this software launch different from previous ones? The main distinction is that you may begin in the parking lot. It can change, and you can park when you get there. In other words, you are essentially experiencing for the first time the capabilities of an end-to-end drive. To be clear, Frost, if SD isn't flawless at the moment, even if I don't have version 13, my automobile has eye tracking technology. You know, the overall message is that, well, there are still interventions. Well, okay, how are they able to launch when, you know, I still have to take over in these specific scenarios, or when it doesn't work in bad weather or something? Is something I believe people ask frequently. They'll probably debut with remote operators, which is the important point that isn't discussed enough, in my opinion. That's what Cruise did, and that's what Waymo does. Therefore, it only has to be excellent enough so that you may substitute this remote operator system when necessary. It doesn't need to be flawless at launch. As you might see, the more you do it, the more complicated and expensive it will be. Therefore, they most likely wish to shorten the period that the automobile is assisted by the remote human operators. There is more to Tesla's remarkable success than merely watching from the sidelines. With the most recent information on Tesla, stock price targets, innovation, and all things Elon Musk, Seeking Alpha is the one-stop shop for Tesla bulls and those with an eye for finding the next big thing in the stock market. Our channel may get a commission if a customer makes a purchase after clicking on the affiliate links in the description. Thus, during the Cybercab event, they introduced wireless charging. It appears to make sense for, I would argue, for the future magnitude of this service, because the automobile may be fully charged by driving over a pad without the assistance of a human. And they revealed like some, you know, if you look at the specifications of what they stated, it seems like it would be a fairly amazing experience for the robotaxi service. You probably won't be in the car when it happens. However, I believe they will first only make use of their current infrastructure. I anticipate that this will include people cleaning and charging the vehicle. Of course, why not assign part of that task to Optimus in the future? However, is it necessary for them to begin in a single city? Most likely not. Accordingly, they announced that they will be starting in California and Texas. As you may undoubtedly imagine, it's perhaps the Silicon Valley region in general, followed by, that seems like another area of uncertainty in this case, since Tesla frequently tells the owners in the crowd, well, you can sign your car up and actually you can make a good amount of money off of the service in order to meet peak demand. I believe they are doing that to get people to sign up for their automobiles. I don't believe it's going to be, I don't believe that every car in the initial launch needs to be a sign up car for customers. They can, in my opinion, use a small fleet of their own automobiles in addition to those of their customers, because they want that supplement. They want to make buyers enthused about it. They want to be certain that the volume is there when they need it. You know, this is a fleet model, you know, but I believe that third-party businesses will exist. We've heard Tesla push for the establishment of these businesses that will own and run the vehicles for the company. After that, Tesla maintains a limited fleet for itself. Let's recall the present patterns that have been prevalent over the last 10 or more years. Since ride-hail has become popular, it seems like less young people desire their license. This seems to be in line with what has been going on for a long, I believe. Additionally, I believe that the appeal to owners is a kind of invitation to entrepreneurs to launch that fleet model once more. It's like, okay, so maybe you don't want to sign up for your car, but maybe someone else sees an opportunity here and they wants to buy 30 cars or something. And that seems to be a component of it as well. And pockets of individuals are already engaging in this behavior. This is like their exact strategy when the service is accessible in Europe, where I noticed on X that someone owns a fleet of Teslas. Therefore, I don't believe the proposal is very insane. Those folks are already out there. In my opinion, it just comes down to rewarding them and, well, putting the program's logistics in place so that it can function. The New York City taxi medallion model, for example, frequently consists of a medallion holder and several drivers. And so, or, a single individual owns several automobiles because they have several medallions. Thus, I believe that it has existed throughout history. We're in the ride-hail industry, I guess. Yes, you do not see it functioning in that manner now. However, we did witness Uber collaborating with Waymo. For the first time, they will be able to house and maintain automobiles. Therefore, I believe that the ride-hail companies are beginning to realize that this is sort of the business model of the future. And, they might not survive if they don't change. As a result, I believe that Waymo's actions today are only the beginning of it. Indeed, it appears like Waymo may have that as part of their strategy. After launching their own service, Waymo chose to collaborate with Uber. They may have done it in part since they don't have a scaled fleet, in my opinion. Therefore, they most likely wish to add a larger fleet to provide clients with competitive service times. Well, but sharing economics is the apparent reason why Tesla doesn't do that, or for that matter, why any corporation doesn't do it. However, as we know from Sam's work that the operating costs of an electric vehicle are already lower than those of a gas-powered car, we've actually published a blog post that demonstrates that if Tesla were to launch with human drivers today, they could already undercut the cost of Uber slightly. Additionally, I believe that Tesla's attractive verticalized structure offers several benefits. I believe that Tesla is not in the same situation as Waymo, where they will need to collaborate since they are a vertically integrated manufacturer. It's doubtful, but I'm not saying it's completely impossible. Well, that's not exactly Tesla's style, and I'd be shocked. They tend to be more do-it-yourself. Believe a few things. First of all, the market determines this. We understand that if you're an Asian customer, you may be used to these amazing apps. The user behavior there may then change. Isn't that right? As you may see, various marketplaces may have different considerations. However, I believe that because to our price cap, the US is actually the most significant market for ride-hail services. In contrast, it may cost 30 cents per mile in China, which is almost $2, 0 cents here.